28 years later, the zombie outbreak continues to spread. Most films are fortunate to foretell only one item. The 2002 dystopian movie 28 Days Later by Danny Boyle manages to be at the forefront of two fairly different trends: the worldwide epidemic and the nimble zombies. 28 Days Later was exceptionally prophetic when you include Cillian Murphy, who had his breakthrough performance in the movie. As many of us watched the start of the Afghanistan War and American Idol, Boyle and screenwriter Alex Garland were examining society's brittleness and the very real possibility that disaster may strike at any moment. Boyle always insisted that his undead, a much faster version of the plodding creatures from George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, were only the infected and not zombies. In that movie and its 2007 follow-up 28 Weeks Later, directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, the filmmakers tracked the aftermath of the so-called rage virus, which in the first movie emptied London and in the second movie gave short-lived promises of the virus eradication. The 28 Days Later series has been difficult to defeat, much like the virus. In 28 Years Later, Boyle and Garland revisit their post-apocalyptic epidemic with the advantage of having experienced one firsthand. However, recent history is shockingly unimportant in this wildly disorganized, wildly unconventional, and wildly disorganized third half. Franchises often follow a pattern of gradually adding polish and size. While other franchises may have expanded internationally, 28 Years Later has stayed in the United Kingdom. It is currently a quarantine area where survivors, or at least the ones we follow, congregate on an island off the northeast coast of Britain that is only connected to the mainland by a stone causeway that dips below the water during high tide. In 28 Days Later, Boyle and cinematographer Anthony D.O.D. Mantle, who used digital footage in a novel way, also used iPhones to capture much of the movie. Even though Boyle, the director of Slumdog Millionaire and Trainspotting, is a very busy man in his own right, 28 Years Later is sometimes painfully fragmented.